Hello and welcome to Rule of Thirds, a conversation about art, design and culture with your hosts
Burns,
Mike
and Jude.
If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod. Don't be shy to say hi.
A question about the arts and the craft. If you didn't know, then it's good that you asked. You tune into the culture. Just the rule of thirds. If you want to, you could tune at work, yeah. And tell me, does that frame fit good? Does it feel right? You want to steal a photo for your website, but you want a logo we can design, right? Yeah.
So this week's pretty special. Not only is it our 33rd episode, but it's our first episode with a featured guest. We are joined by creative polymath Natalie Narh. So a bit about Natalie. She's been working in the industry for about 5 years and currently works as a creative at a creative agency skilled in photography, graphic design, videography, 2D animation, and web design. Like, she can really do it all. Within those 5 years, Natalie has made Beamer's 100 Class of 2021. She's been a D&AD New Blood Awards judge. She's made Campaign Magazine's Top 30 Female Future Adland Leaders and Yahoo Finance and Power Top 100 Future Leaders. And most importantly, she's a friend of the pod, a friend of ours, and our fellow designer in arms. Independent of her role in the industry, she's also a co-founder of Pan-African social platform Newcomer, a space for creatives to connect, create, learn, and earn. The platform equips creatives of all levels with customizable portfolio builders, discussion boards, job boards, storefronts, short courses, portfolio reviews, workshops, mentorships, and so much more. She and her team are building something really amazing, and we are so fortunate to have her on today's episode of the pod.
Episode what? 33?
Episode 33.
Wow,
yeah.
33. This is very special.
Oh my god, I just clocked that.
I know.
That is very special.
We should make this a thing.
What, so we should wait for...
Nah,
Oh, because that 66
let's
would
not
be
do that
way
to
too
ourselves.
long. Yeah,
I was going to say, it sounds like
that's
some
not-
Illuminati. Because the next one's going to be, what, 66? I'm not trying to...
God forbid.
That's a bit...
You got a while to the,
Yeah.
6-6.
Whoa.
5 plus 1.
Whoa,
But anyways.
How you guys doing?
Great.
Yeah?
Good. Amazing.
Mm.
You guys seem to enjoy yourself over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
Oh, was it that good that you don't remember?
It's so...
Nah,
you know what it is?
nah, you're right.
On the day, I was like, oh my God, yeah, it's Jude. But I completely forgot that Jude was there today when I was like, everyone was like, oh, we saw you.
I can't lie. I think because I think I'm realizing that I haven't really been out
Right.
since like the new year.
Oh, as in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a big release. It was a nice big release. But yeah, it was
Yeah, that-
nice to see kind of people skin out, a bit of sunshine, tiny bit of drizzle.
Yeah.
It's a pardon.
I mean, to be fair, Mike was skin out for most of
Hey!
it. If you see,
Michael,
Michael
those shorts. You wearing tight shorts in it?
I really dislike both of you.
Mike was twerking. That's what I can say.
Wait. You're not denying
No,
that.
us. No.
I have video
You're
evidence. There's
sitting
no
there
way you
looking
could
at me
escape
and
this.
thinking, yeah, that's shaking his yash.
Yeah.
Burns, how was your weekend?
Mine was sensational.
Oh, that's great.
Miss
What did you get up
rested. I went to Tunbridge Wells.
Hmm?
Oh, I went to visit my auntie and uncle.
Oh.
Oh, is that Tunbridge and Wells?
No, Tunbridge Wells is a
Oh, I
place.
thought you meant your auntie. Tunbridge Wells. I was like,
Nah. So I'm placing up in Kent, but it was sensational.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Lord.
Yeah, I went to church, but I remember I did something. Wait, there's something before that.
You went to a theater.
Was that on
Oh
Sunday?
my god, no, that was I didn't even. That was early Thursday
Thursday.
for black boys who have considered suicide because of the shade of their hue or something. Yeah, I think that was the long title, but bruv, one of the best theatre shows I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah?
Oh, 100%.
Would you recommend?
Like I said, 10 out of 10 is above 10 out of 10.
That's amazing.
Like no cap. Like there was the last part of it was very sad. Like literally you can hear, you know when you can hear people crying, but it was like sniffles. Like everyone was just like
Oh,
I can't lie, I was.
Mm.
But it was because it was sad. Because I
Yeah,
think it was
love
just
that.
like Now I can't lie, like toxic masculinity was out of the window because but
Beautiful.
it broke it down though in the
Yeah.
sense of it made you realize how much trauma
Man, them have.
them have. Because I feel like we don't show like so they covered the road man, the queer man, the Ghana actually the Ghana man.
Oh, right, that's man
Like-
specific.
They had everything.
No Nigerians. Okay, fair enough.
But they had Nigerians,
Okay.
But but like it was sensational.
We have an amazing, I'd say probably one of the most amazing people I know personally.
Come on.
Oh, you can speak for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the most amazing people that we know.
I know.
Talented,
Come on.
humble,
Yeah.
a visionary.
What share price gone up, yeah?
Hey!
Ah.
Is a unicorn.
Punctuation.
We have the incomparable
Mm.
Natalie Narh.
Hi.
Now, do you hear the intro?
Wow.
I mean,
So elegant, so
He
poised.
sounds like a CEO.
well, thank you, amen.
But Natalie, it's really nice to have you here with us, honestly.
Honestly.
Really great
Well,
to be here.
first of all, you are our first official
Yeah, guest on the
Yes.
pod.
Yeah.
It's not
Super
Rule of Thirds.
honoured.
It's not Rule of Thirds
Big
right now.
fan
It's
of you
Rule
guys.
Quarter.
rule of, yeah.
You know, I was thinking of if I should mention. I mean, I'm going to mention it anyway.
Hey.
But your abbreviation
Yeah.
of rule of thirds
Hmm.
is rot.
Yeah.
'Cause we're trying to rot the enemy.
We're trying to rot the
The toxic,
the toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
barriers and the glass
That's
Furthermore,
ceilings,
furthermore.
They're preaching.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
industry.
It was all planned.
It definitely
Yeah.
was.
Sure.
It was discussed.
Reclaiming the
That
term.
shouldn't have been the first thing I said, but it was the first thing I thought.
It's
about
funny
this
because I feel like when we
morning.
come up with the name, I did mention that.
Yeah, just burns. Wait, Natalie, are you trying to say you don't like our name?
No, no, it's not like I don't like rot. I just realized that was the
Well, we added a P in it. Rule of thirds pod. So it's
Rot-
Well, you don't like that?
softens it.
No, yeah, you know? Yeah.
No, but the name itself is good.
Okay.
Like it makes sense.
Thank you. We got, the
And I'm not
price
just
going up,
saying that.
bro.
Yeah.
The price going up. She agrees.
We're only going up.
But yeah,
man.
have you been?
Yeah, I've been good.
Yeah?
Good.
Just good?
I think that was like my inner me just like coming out.
No, lay out.
Wow.
No. I mean,
Safe
like
space.
I'm good, but like obviously life be lifing at the same time. So yeah, but generally, yeah, I'd say I'm good.
Okay. How does the week look like for you?
Is it?
So is it busy in a personal way or just like work?
Wow, it's crazy that you ask that question because if I actually think of my personal life, it's just like, okay.
Non-existent.
It's just like I'm there, you know. But in my which is good in a sense because looking at around this time last year, that was a lot in a bad way. But it's good that I don't have a lot going on, so that means there's not a lot of things to stress about personally.
You
So
feel
that
like
means I
you're
can-
more focused.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely feel that this year.
You can completely differentiate this is work and this is personal life, or it's just at this point it's just like, or just merged together.
I wouldn't even say it's a balance because I think I'm generally in the space where I feel like I'm sacrificing my personal life for what I feel I need to figure out now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like the older I get, if I have any dependence in the future, like kids, all that good stuff, like I wouldn't have the luxury of taking certain sacrifices.
Yeah.
I can now.
Facts.
So I'm just in a, like, if certain things aren't as straightforward to do, fine, but it's only because I want things to be easier
Yeah.
when I'm older. Like,
Yeah.
for my 30th year on this earth, I do not want to be working. Like, I've decided.
As in
Yeah.
Retired.
No, no.
Bitcoin to the moon.
Well, no. I mean, like, I want to take the year off for my 30th
Oh
year.
wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So
What made you like?
I don't know where money's coming from. Well, for two reasons. One, I want to spend half of that year traveling, just visiting galleries. And I want to spend the other half working on a documentary. I don't know what the documentary is about yet,
Wow.
but I just know I wanted to involve like typology because I always loved that style of photography. And yeah,
Wow.
I just know that I want to spend that year creating as a person, not creating for other people. Because I think ever since like I started actively considering who I am as a creative, it's always been in the context of fulfilling others, like other people's visions and stuff like that. But I haven't really been creating for myself.
Wow.
And sometimes you get lost in the craft.
Nah.
Wow.
It's like I feel like I'm hearing Michael speak right now. It's so weird. This is literally the conversation we had like last week.
Yeah, last week or
That is crazy.
as well as the week before
Yeah.
as well.
Is it difficult, like having to kind of sacrifice, I guess, your time for someone else's vision?
Yeah, but I guess this is where the personal side comes in. I feel like currently I'm not really sacrificing anything for anyone, like personally right now. But on a professional side of things, yeah, I would say sometimes it gets a bit challenging because obviously it's good that I want to be many things, but because I want to be many things, it's like, what is my priority right now?
Right.
And like my dad always tells me that regardless of who you are as a person and how you want to define yourself, never mix like your two roles. Like obviously I'm still working full time, I'm still working on Newcomer, and he's like, although those missions align, like you still exactly. If God forbid like Newcomer doesn't work out, you still have a career in advertising, and that still needs to thrive in its specific silo. Because as soon as you start to mix them up, if obviously one doesn't go well, then you lose both.
Wow.
Serious words of wisdom.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Newcomer. I think it'd probably be the best. That was a good segue, right?
Yeah. That was a very, very good segue.
So yeah, you mentioned Newcomer. I mean, it'd be great to kind of let we know what Newcomer is, but for those who are listening, it'd be great to kind of give them an insight as to what Newcomer actually is.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I will answer your question by going on a tangent because I feel like defining Newcomer in a lot of ways is almost like defining what my creative journey has been and what my co-founder's creative journey has been as well. But obviously, I can't speak for him, so I'll speak for myself.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I think thankfully I've had parents who have always been supportive of me as a creative. I've been the kind where, or my sister and I were the kind where when we were younger, she was interested in drawing and stuff. So we had like art lessons, we had like pottery lessons, we had like just random things that helped to stimulate our creativity. And I had a supportive grandmother as well, paternal grandmother.
Okay.
I got this computer video game thingamajig from my dad, and it had like, you know, those random science facts, and it was something like that essentially. But yeah, off the back of that, I was like maybe 6, 7, and I wanted to share like the facts I had learned in that game with my friends. So I founded something called the Smart Steps Club. So every Saturday, like I met with like, I don't know, 15 to 20 of my friends at my grandma's hotel. That's why I said she was supportive. And yeah, I met with them every weekend. It literally just turned into us talking about music, or me like throwing the music I enjoyed on them every
Like
weekend.
this now.
What kind of music were you guys discussing at that time?
Ooh.
And where was you based at that time as
Oh,
well?
I was in Ghana at the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, I grew up in Ghana. And actually, that's a very interesting question. What kind of music? I only remember one T-Pain came 2005, 2007, but he's a default. But yeah, like music aside, like I think I always just enjoyed sharing knowledge with other people and giving other people access to the things that I had as well. And like going back to the parents' point, like because we're involved in all of these extra curricular stuff as kids, like we never felt like we couldn't be creative or we couldn't embark on a creative journey full time. And yeah, I guess like transitioning from like different creative mediums as well, because once again it starts with music. Like I was singing in primary school and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna skip like 10 years of my life. So I'm in high school. I'm in high school now, and yeah, I actually got into photography because of my dad. Like he got a camera, and as he was
What
teaching,
did your dad do?
so he's a partner at EY, so he's in no, not accounting. He's in consulting.
Right.
So that's a really interesting point, because I guess what do you think influenced them to almost allow you guys to be so creatively free if then something that's not typically known as a
Yeah,
creative?
it's not
Do you know what I
normal.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially
Like-
in African households.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I think it's because they gave themselves that freedom.
Mm.
That's why they were able to give it to us.
Right.
And I think it's, in terms of being creative, everyone is creative. Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter who you are, what you do.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
everyone has the
Something.
ability to imagine things, right?
Yeah.
Or be imaginative. And I think the flexibility of both of their roles as well, because my mom at the time, she was when we were really young, she also had this like aerobics TV show, so she was in the industry as well.
Yeah.
So that also afforded her the flexibility to have a career and also be a mom.
Mm.
And I think for me, growing up, it's like, okay, I'm watching someone who is literally like running her own career, like
Yeah.
running her own gym and stuff like that. And she was the most present parent ever.
Wow.
Like my mom, my sister and I call her like mother of the world, because she would be there for every school pickup. She would spend time with the teachers.
Yeah.
She would do like aerobics classes for the school and stuff
Wow.
like
Oh,
that.
wow.
So she did all of that, but she could still, have her own business and stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay.
So
Wow.
Shout out to Auntie.
As
yeah,
in-
so I was always quite
Yeah, wow.
grateful for that, but then also knew that I also wanted to have a role that afforded me the flexibility to be present for my kids. Although ironically
Yeah.
now I have like next to no time, but that's why I'm working so hard now.
Yeah.
So
For
I
that,
can
yeah,
have
long-term
that
time
freedom.
later on,
Yeah,
yeah.
the long term. So back to photography, my dad, all that jazz. Eventually I did a 4-day course at the London School of Photography. I did it with my cousin actually. And when I got to high school, I found out that my friend Nigel was coming as well. After I did that course, obviously I was applying that in my high school as well, and for extracurricular activities as well. I was teaching other people what I had learnt as well.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And then-
that early on.
That's serious.
Yeah, because we
bro.
had CAS, we did IB.
Mm.
So yeah, it was part of the things that we did for CAS. So eventually I started like leading photo CAS and stuff.
I see.
So yeah, when I found out Nigel was coming, I initially got a bit nervous because he had also done a course at the London School of Photography. So it's like, oh, this
What is
guy's
that
coming to
competition?
yeah. So yeah, I don't know why I allowed that to get into my head, but it did, because he was good at the time. And when he did come to my high school eventually, like, it wasn't even a case where I was even thinking about the competition, because I was just glad that there was someone else who enjoyed photography as much as I did, because
Yeah.
there weren't a lot of us
Right.
that into photography at the time. So we ended up leading photography and videography cast together. And another key thing to mention about this high school is actually two key things. One, we had the freedom to be creative as well, as much as it was a very like STEM centric kind of school. Like we were in bands. We yeah, we
Really?
won.
This is in Ghana.
This is in Ghana.
Hey.
Wow.
So
Wait, what was age-wise? Are you-
okay, actually let me explain. I don't mind saying where I went. SOS. Let me explain the structure of SOS.
Yeah.
So it's an organization that's actually all over the world.
Okay.
But half of it is a school and the other half of it is an orphanage.
Okay.
And the thing about so it's actually all the way from kindergarten all the way up to the college. But the college is separate from everything else. So you have to write a
Okay.
separate exam for that. So yeah, it's worth mentioning SOS because for the college, because they have that additional exam, it's people in SOS from all over the continent who write that exam.
Right.
So it's like 40% national, so like Ghanaians, and
Yeah.
then 60% internationals.
Wow.
Literally anyone from anywhere on the continent. And it was a boarding school. So we weren't just like learning the Pan-African theory, we were like living
Yeah.
the
Super
Pan-African.
soldiers. We're raising super soldiers. It's like the best of the best.
And-
SOS is based in Ghana.
Yeah.
Where in Ghana?
Tema.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm learning something new
I actually
today,
know where
boy.
that is.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, it's a really, or I was gonna say was, but it is a really good high school in the sense that like you naturally learn about other African like people and cultures because you're living with them and it's just embedded into the culture of the school. And then obviously the other side of being like free to be creative.
Yeah.
So that's when Nigel and I set that foundation. So we actually started talking about newcomer in high school.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's actually insane.
Mad.
About
So
foresight.
before uni,
As in-
before after uni,
This
mad.
conversation started in 2012.
Mad.
Like 10 years
I love
ago.
that.
2012.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And it was because we had done the course at the London School of Photography, and because like it was just a 4-day course, but it was so like insightful,
Yeah.
and we're like, we wish we had stuff like this here in Ghana. So that's actually why we started talking about it. Like we wish like we could like have workshops that were similar to what we had at the London School of Photography.
Yeah.
Not as expensive as the London School of
Yeah.
Photography. That 4-day course was like what, 400-500,
Hey.
Wow.
and not. If you convert that to cedis or naira or whatever currency, like it's not
That's
gonna
racks.
make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we're just talking about how we want more people like us to have access to those kind of resources.
Wow.
So that's where we set the foundation for newcomer. I mean, obviously it wasn't called newcomer then, but like
Yeah.
the foundation of it
yeah.
was started there. And then obviously we both moved to the UK for uni, and we continued to freelance. That's when we both started like freelancing properly.
Yeah.
And we always knew that we wanted to work on a project together,
Yeah.
because everything that we had done prior to that was like for school projects, like maybe shooting events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So wow, very long introduction.
No, it's good.
But
Serious
You asked me
foundation.
what
I need
question?
that context.
so in uni we decided to work on a project that linked us back home to Ghana, because we felt a very natural detachment from like the creative scene back home.
Right.
And we also didn't want to fall into the hole of people being detached or like actively detached
Yeah,
from
yeah.
home, because we feel like that shouldn't be the standard of
Yeah.
creating or whatever.
Yeah.
So we started the Cool Kids project. That was more or less just curating like people in Ghana that we thought were doing cool stuff, and it wasn't even just limited to creators at the time. We involved a chef. We involved like other like general.
It wasn't just the traditional, some musicians and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Although like most of the people featured in the first edition were like musicians, like Mem Gang. That was like the summer that they founded. And the whole creative direction behind that was mocking them up on like popular magazine covers like Forbes, Veda, etc.
Right.
To show that like these people are just starting out in their careers, but they don't look out of place in these spaces. And it was also communicating the power of giving people their flowers before they actually turn into anyone people
That's good.
know in the first
Yeah.
place. And then the other side of that was we intentionally chose international publications because like back home in Ghana, and I think I can speak for anyone on the continent as well, like people can be amazing at what they do, but they aren't given the respect that they deserve until they've garnered some sort of international attention.
Yeah.
And I mean, on one side, obviously it's great because that means to get on that pedestal, you must have done something right. But then on the other side, we shouldn't have to look for Western validation.
Of course, validation, yeah.
In order to
to validate ourselves. So that was the first edition. We did the second edition. The second edition was interviewing people, and we realized that most of the challenges that they mentioned, most of the things that they wished that they had, were things that we wished we had as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we wanted to expand to the Cookers project to other African countries, and we realized that like, who is the Lamem gang equivalent in Kenya? Like, there's only so much Instagram, Twitter, like all these other platforms can take you in finding these people, because it's not built for us.
Yeah.
Like, there would never be a point where these men are going to sit in a room and be like, "We're doing this for the Africans." You know, it's just not going to happen. And so the conversations we started having like back in 2012 started like cropping up even more, because we initially started with wanting to have like an archive or a database of the people that we featured in the Cool Kids project.
Yeah.
And that's when we realized that we need more than a database. Like, the problem isn't just finding the talent. The problem is also ensuring that the talent that is found is actually getting access to all the things that they need to thrive on an international scale.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not like they just don't know how to do like their work. Like even things like equipment make
Yeah.
a massive difference to the output
Massive.
of whatever's being created. So yeah.
Wow.
That's how we found a newcomer. So in terms of what newcomer actually is,
Mine. We have landed.
You've really
yeah,
prepared.
yeah.
I enjoyed that.
the
though.
ground.
We got there. So Newcomer is a social recruitment platform or a Pan-African social recruitment platform for creatives to connect, create, learn, and earn. So it's not necessarily just for African creatives. It's for anyone looking to hire them or collaborate with them or just connect with them
Yeah.
in general.
I signed up today, by the way. I got my email.
Thanks.
Come on.
You're getting in early.
Come on, bro. You have to get in early.
I respect it. I love the fact, especially with the whole journey you've taken us on, because it's like I think a lot of times we get to see just obviously the final outcome is like, oh, it's great. And that's
Yeah.
it. But to talk about how, especially with having these ideas and like, okay, cool, this is what we could make. And not only just say this is what we could make, but this is what we are making, and slowly and then eventually it actually comes in real life. I guess it's kind of like, yeah, it takes someone with foresight. That's like I kept saying, that's a lot of foresight for someone to actually,
100%.
because I think you mentioning about how your parents believed in you and they supported your ideas, and basically they didn't kind of like restrain you and put their, I guess, insecurities upon you, which, let's be real, all the time it happens.
Oh, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the fact that they allowed you to kind of, similar to like the Kanye West doc, where they like, whatever you want to do, you can do.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, we can facilitate for you to kind of just thrive in that space.
Yeah.
And then you taking that same attitude and not waiting even for your children, but doing it with your peers.
Yeah.
Something that you don't really get to see a lot, because a lot of people are like very selfish with their inspirations.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, my parents inspired me, and therefore I'm gonna just try to be the biggest person in the world, forget about everyone else.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's where it could differ to someone like, I guess, a Kanye West, for example, where you're actively sharing.
But is that context because of how Ghana is set up compared to the UK?
I suppose there is more community in Ghana, so that could be a thing.
Because I genuinely thought in the UK,
That could be a thing.
we are always trying to be the one
Oh.
because there's not enough of us.
That right there.
Yeah, we're all battling for this one spot.
I'm the star.
Yeah, one in, one
Yeah.
out kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in
Yeah,
Ghana, we're all basically the same.
Especially if you're on the same boat, you're kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Like, I want to see more people like me
Yeah.
in this particular
Yeah,
space.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
that.
But I feel like it's the same, well, or similar across like both pockets as well, because as soon as he said that, I thought of one person who's like that, and he's Ghanaian living in Ghana.
There we go. Yikes. Awkward. Hey, we didn't say anything.
There are some people who generally feel like their goal is to get in through the door and shut it behind them. And like there are a
evil,
lot
you
of people.
That's so bad,
That's
man.
so wicked. I can't lie.
Just throw the wind in
bad
your
wicked.
face.
And like for some people, especially here, like in London or across the diaspora, like I not that I understand, but I can see how people end up in that position because
No, I was gonna ask, do you reckon it's because of like the grammar, structural inequalities and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff?
exactly.
Most definitely.
Exactly, because like on my end as well, like there's a point where I felt that was starting to eclipse like my actual like role as a creative, like in certain
Okay.
contexts.
Yeah.
I said context now. Yeah, in certain context, and so based on that, I can see why people just wanted to be about the work and that's it.
Yeah.
But we just don't have that luxury. We don't have
Yeah,
the luxury
yeah,
of just
yeah,
being
yeah.
like creatives, you know. We always end up putting like who we are in front of the word creative.
Yeah.
And in some sense, it's obviously helpful because it helps us find each other and all that good stuff. But then on the other side, like I'm always saying this, and like this is also another thing I got from my parents, like who you are as a person isn't your work. Do you get what I mean? Like because if you think about it, most of the stuff that I'm interested in, like the typical woman, like
Right.
in air quotes because they can't obviously see my hands, but like the typical woman wouldn't be into them. Like in 2012, 13, there weren't a lot of like,
Gotcha.
female photographers I could
Yeah.
look up to. There weren't a lot of female like
Oh, yeah.
designers,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
all those like disciplines. And when I started freelancing in uni, I can't tell you the number of times where some of the messages would start with "yo, bro," and it's like, who's your bro?
By the way, for the guys, more context.
Let's create.
Graphic. You mean graphic designers, right? Just in case people do.
Yeah. Graphic designers, and yeah, I've always. I mean,
that's such a good point. Yeah.
obviously, I have a.
It was your bro. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always your bro.
No
And
etiquette.
It's just like it didn't make any sense, but I can also once again see why people would fall into that trap.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want my whole career to be about me as a woman doing things or me as a black woman doing certain things, and that's why I had to eventually like get out of certain contexts because I felt like my entire identity was about the black woman who was doing well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I want to do well and just happen to be a black woman, you know.
I see. You want that to be, I guess, secondary to your
To everything else, which is so interesting because obviously it's like there's a bit of irony, right? Because the platform that you are building focuses on
a specific demographic.
Yeah, exactly. But in the context of like the continent, people don't see themselves as black. It's not it's not racialized, is it?
Yeah.
But obviously in the West,
Yeah.
we will look at that and be like, oh my gosh, this is for the black. So it's just very yeah.
Which is why we say we describe it as a Pan-African platform and not as a platform for black creators, because as much as people across the diaspora are of course like a part of our demographic, like our target demographic, by using the word black you immediately
massive part.
like no one thinks of Africa.
This is so true.
I think about Americans.
Yep.
Exactly. You think about Americans, black British people, everyone across the diaspora.
Sorry.
Why'd you do that?
But it's so true. You'll think about everybody and the core audience who it's like mainly for be last
on the back burner.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're definitely right in that. And although everyone typically talks about tick boxing in a negative context, you do have to tick box to a certain extent to like measure.
Humans are like that. We need kind of like
metrics.
Categories to be like, okay, this is this and this is that. So but it's interesting because it's like you are thinking about these things, and I'm just like, even me thinking about it right now, I'm getting stressed because I'm just kind of like having to navigate through all of this on a, I guess, not on a daily basis, but if you're having to create a platform that is outside of just yourself, because if you think about yourself, it's easy. You can be like, okay, I'm Natalie, and people see me as this, so I can use that to my advantage, or this might be a deficit to me, so I have to navigate that way. But where you're actually thinking of a broader picture for, I guess, for a Pan-African audience, like, what would you say some of the not pitfalls, but more so the challenges that you kind of have to overcome in order to kind of feel comfortable enough to be like, this is what I say it is?
So I think it's also being very open with the fact that there are nuances to the African experience, and we always, literally, we're not reinventing any wheels with newcomer. I think that's something that Nigel and I like really made sure we understood from the beginning, that it doesn't necessarily have to exist for one kind of African person or one kind of black person, because there is no one kind of both of these pockets. And that in itself is our like unique selling point, because it's not like no one has ever built what we're building. It's just that not a lot of people are building this for this group of people. Or at the scale or at the quality that we're building it for these people.
That's a word.
I've seen a few of like the Hotep.
It's true. Like building, because that's what it's a platform, obviously, but you're building a structure for like, obviously, for people to like not only like share their like portfolios or work, for example, but like how they sustain themselves and like building ways
it's all
for people
about
to actually
autonomy.
earn. Exactly.
Ooh, I like that word.
I feel like the integrations of the actual site like is so useful. Like even I saw the bookmark feature as well. Like I think it's very useful. It's not just like any basic, like
it's not there.
Very
thought through.
Like and I think that's what I'm encouraged by. I think that is, it's weird because I guess it's almost been like it started from this place. So you talk about 2012, for example, but like even when I went to Ghana in 2019, I could see it. I went to a daily paper sort of like not show, but like a conversation, and I forgot the name of the studio.
Does it have a K?
Yeah, I
No.
think
One of those. The one with Kempinski, something.
something like that. But like even just seeing the people that were in the room, it was like raw. Like we're actually taking lead with this, and actually we're building things with quality.
Yeah.
Daily Paper is another brand, for example, that I look at. I'm like, that's excellent.
Everything's
That's,
top notch. Yeah.
that's Pan African as well, because that's people from Somalia, Morocco, and Somalia.
In Ghana.
In Ghana, yeah.
Ghana, Somalia, and Morocco. So it's like it's seeing that mixed together and seeing more of us starting to make these moves. It's good to see.
Yeah,
Good to
I
see.
agree.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree. But yeah, like again, I really admire how it's, you know, another thing that's beautiful is the fact that you're not afraid to kind of like bring people in, I guess,
Yeah.
to kind of say, this is what we're doing, by the way. How are we doing?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Like, can you see our vision? Are you with us? Are you not? Like,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? Because I guess a lot of like we were speaking before, a lot of times when it comes to these kind of entities, it tends to be we're doing our thing and we're so cool,
I
we're
want-
protecting
yeah.
the cool. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the
so
cool is
much, man.
ours,
Yeah.
and it's like it's so exclusive to the point that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it gets a bit not intimidating,
It's,
but
it's like protected.
But that
Yeah.
I feel like that's a way that people try to use as a selling point.
what,
Oh,
so
100%.
exclusive.
No, we're exclusive.
Yeah.
If you ain't part of our club, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're
It's like,
lacking,
do you know what I mean?
bro.
It's like a selling point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I thought it's getting redundant now because we're seeing it so often. It's like, okay, cool. Everyone's
Yeah.
got a club now, but
Yeah.
can we get in?
It's like, come on.
I feel
That's
like
it,
I feel like that's a key thing though, and once again, it's going back to like the whole idea of detachment as well. Like it's not about me, it's not about Nigel. Like this
Yeah.
isn't about any of us. Like
Yeah.
what we're building with Newcomer is for the people who are within the comma community to define. You guys can wake up and say we don't want a social media platform, and and that's the thing as well. Like detaching from the idea of it existing as a social media platform, the whole idea is to connect African creatives. That doesn't have to just exist as a social media platform.
Yeah.
That can happen offline as well. It could turn into like workspaces. It could turn into anything that does this, you know.
As long as it's
And
working.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think from an emotional standpoint as well, having that ability to detach from what the vision could be helps you pivot faster.
Right.
Because if you're really attached to one idea and it's not working out, you will explore every single possible route
Exhaust
to
all
make
your
sure
resources.
to make sure that it comes to pass. But sometimes it's not working. So
Do you feel like that's a new model of like businesses today? Because I know back in the day it was predominantly like, okay, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this. But now it's like
Switch up.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Innovate or die.
Because it's
Yeah.
almost that thing of
Richard
like,
Guy tried.
so okay,
Sorry.
how do you escape not becoming like another platform? And I'll give it context to this. So like, for example, I've seen a lot of conversations about platforms like Instagram becoming like TikTok
Yeah.
or Twitter becoming like Clubhouse.
Yeah.
How do you sort of try and preserve the identity of Newcomer as well as, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
how, yeah.
It's because we're not building this for numbers and pace, right? Most of these platforms are chasing each other's tails because they're trying to get the most eyes on their product and they're trying to get people creating content for the intention of going viral,
Yeah.
which I don't think is sustainable for creatives or content creators in general. Like
Yeah.
it might be the norm now, like against the backdrop of society in general. Society, like even looking at how long people stay at their like jobs now.
Yeah.
Our parents could stay like 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
firm.
Could
And like,
never
yeah,
be
exactly.
me.
6 months in, he's like, you know, this job is really toxic. I'm gonna leave.
Oh,
Give it
gosh.
toxic.
Yeah, you know.
Drag them on the TL.
Yeah. A thread.
And it's like now we aren't like attached to like the places that we worked, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's reflected in a lot of things that like we do like within that context. But yeah, pace is a really big thing for me because I think creatives are their best selves when they're just left to exist in the moment and create as and when they feel things come to them, because literally my whole job is coming up with ideas every day, but I
Right.
just allow myself to not do things during the day and then have the ideas come to me in the night instead of trying to like force
it.
Yeah, because like as much as we're trying to make it that way, creativity isn't robotic.
Yeah.
It just isn't. And yeah, I think that's what would make us different from other people. The fact that we're literally creating this safe space, like this digital safe space for creatives, for African creators as well. And if you think about it, like compared to like other platforms as well, these are people who have like massive internet penetration. Whereas on the continent, like the digital divide is like crazy. Even like access to electricity and stuff like that isn't straightforward. And the cost of data, like these are all
When I got it, yeah, just chopping every day. Paying new money every day.
I spent more money than I do here on a contract. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's not sustainable. I can't lie.
That makes
at
sense.
all. So like
Maybe it's a business model there.
Yeah.
it really is.
Newcomer internet.
And that's even another topic in itself, like Google like investing in internet penetration on the continent and stuff like that. It's like these people aren't doing it for no reason.
Money have to make.
money and data, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's just a lot of layers.
Okay, wait. How do you see the Pan-African scope now? Because we're talking creativity, and we know, let's be real, there's a lot of creativity coming from Africa as a continent.
So much.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess to your point about how like making it a bit more, not refined, because that's a bit rude to say, refine your art, but more so, I guess, how it's being funneled into other avenues. Because you know, with social media, that's mostly how we get information. Like news, no one goes on TV to watch news anymore. More time you're on Twitter trying to figure out what's going on. So it's like you're finding out how, like, oh, this person's doing that. So I guess with Newcomer and it being, I guess, very specified for the Pan-African audience, how does it look like? How is the Pan-African, I guess, creative scene looking like?
I mean, currently on Newcomer or generally, what does the Pan-African?
Well, I suppose we could start generally, and then I guess Newcomer being the solution could be the second answer.
Yeah. I think generally, actually, once again, before answering your question, I'm gonna go off a tangent.
Let's go.
When you look at the hierarchy of like creative output on the continent, most people think of Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and then everyone else on the continent, right? Actually, let's zoom out even further. If you look at the kind of content that we consume, like even like pre 2016, most of us here in the diaspora in the UK, people on the continent, and of course people in America itself, we consumed a lot of American like TV and music and stuff like that. And if you're going to draw like a pyramid of like how that content works or whatever, like you would definitely always have African American content being over everyone else, people across the diaspora, until you have people on the continent. And it's been that way until recent years, right? And I always like alluded to other situations like Brexit and stuff like that, because before Brexit, like obviously we always knew that this wasn't our home, but when Brexit came, these people really told us this is not your home.
Get out my country.
You know, and naturally with BLM as well, it's a similar situation where you're currently living, you have people telling you that this space is not for you. You might be here living with us, like interacting with us and everything, but this will never be your space. So naturally, you start looking to like your other home. I don't like to say real home, because obviously everyone looks at their relationship with Africa.
I can understand.
Everyone looks at their relationship with Africa differently. Like even looking at people have asked us why we don't specifically target the Caribbean, and that's because not all of them call Africa home. Like, and
They find insulting sometimes even.
Exactly. And we don't want to speak for a group of people, and once again, we don't want to speak for people who aren't us once again. And I think it's also like with making certain assumptions that just shouldn't be there in the first place. So so after breaking it down by region, you can even look at the kind of like content as well. Like music is definitely like spearheading everything right now.
Yeah.
But then it will naturally seep into other mediums like design, photography, videography. All of those things complement each other. But then it also affects other industries as well. Because if you look at how Ghana did like the Year of the Ten in 2019, like it naturally affected the tourism and like hospitality industries and stuff like that, and even the sports industry.
I was a bit mad. I can't lie. I hear them still.
I don't want it to be in Dubai.
I blame Diggy Simmons for all of this.
Oh, what? With the Kente? It might be him, you know. I can't lie. It might be him.
Kente is tired.
Yeah.
We're actually tired. But yeah, I think more specifically to newcomer, the way things are looking now is we have like the mainstream skill sets in the common community currently. So like your visual artists and stuff like that. But the other element that we're trying to bring forward in newcomer is not necessarily just the diversity of the people who are within the network, but I hate saying network, community, but the actual disciplines, like makeup artists, they have artists in their names, but people don't consider them as creatives, you know, or even tattoo artists. Once again, same thing, artists in their names, but when
incredibly talented as well, you know.
Exactly, and
Proper.
these people are doing permanent
How
artwork.
we put on paper and delete?
You can undo, add layers, all of that.
Job, bruv.
Yeah, and so much pressure.
If you make a mistake, what it?
That's
I
it.
have too much anxiety for that.
Yeah,
I could.
It's a control Z.
But yeah, eventually we do want newcomer to be a space for like those disciplines as well, because there are so many people who feel like they are on like the cusp of being a creative or being in the scene, but because they feel too alternative, it doesn't really work out that way.
Unless they're like the traditional, I'm a fine artist, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a photographer.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was gonna ask you a question, Natalie, and like circle back a bit, because I think throughout everything that you've kind of like shared with us, there's like this common theme of like community, and even obviously with the team that you have at Newcomer, collaboration as well. And obviously you've mentioned in your school like being around like people from various like African countries. Like, was there a chance where you worked with them and that kind of maybe instilled something in you like throughout your time like in education, or how did that happen? Because I feel like you're, like Judah said, you're someone that always brings people in, like anything. Like, fun fact, guys, if not for Natalie, I wouldn't have my job where I have my job at the moment. So yeah, like
Different context.
yeah, different context. But yeah, like you're someone who is not afraid to extend share information, you know, whatever. So how did that kind of happen? Sounds like a very
what happened to you, Natalie?
because not everyone is
I
that
think
giving or that generous or that, you know, open.
but it's also like guarding for what reason? Like what is the reason?
Bad man, you know. You are making it sound like it's easy.
No,
No, but like but that's the thing. I feel like it can be
Yeah.
that easy, but people actively choose to make it difficult, because every time like I plug someone, like it makes me happy. Like it makes me happy to do stuff like that. And I think even stuff like actually I'll use this as a very quick example. I hate receiving gifts because I feel like it's so much I feel like it's so much pressure. Like if I don't like something, I find it very hard to pretend. So I would rather be very
Natalie, this is the wrong timing.
I feel like something's happened.
Yeah, what happened to you?
No, I just feel
What's that
like
gift that you received? What was your worst gift?
okay, I think it wasn't that it was a bad gift. I just have it was an iPad, but it was the wrong specs.
2 gigram? No way. Trade in the bin.
Oh,
And
whole iPad.
Natalie's up still.
I said, what do you want me to do with this? What was this?
no, why does this remind me of like BlackBerry Base? And you said, oh, you got me a BlackBerry Bottle 1 instead of a BlackBerry Bottle 3. Not even a BlackBerry Touch.
It's like, please put the receipt in the bag. Thank you.
but you
I'll
see,
return it.
That's the thing. You can't even be like, what's this? Because do you get what I mean?
A whole
And
iPad.
I was a young girl, like, but I mean, the point I'm trying to make is I I love getting gifts for other people because seeing them happy is like a compliment to me.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to break this down. Interrupt. Okay. Yeah.
No, but like,
I hear that though. Yeah.
like
I get it.
I feel like I have accomplished understanding you enough to
Right.
know
Joy
that
in
this
seeing
will
you
make you
happy.
happy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what this is in a sense. And once again, it always goes back to my parents. Like my mom is the same kind of person. Like she's very she doesn't care about a lot of things that the typical person in her circle would care about, right? And it's the same for my dad. And I think it's in, once again, understanding the context that you're in and the privileges that you might have. One person can acknowledge that privilege and use it to like bash other people or make life more difficult for people. But then there's the other side of it where you can acknowledge the bits where you have the upper hand over others, but then extend the upper hand as well.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always easier to do the latter because with the former, you always end up putting yourself in a box. People might not always communicate that they are in that box, but there are some points where you would find that it's so much pressure to look like you're like this kind of person who is perfect all the time and stuff like that. And that's why even with like how we document newcomer, I don't really want to become one of the it's so ironic because I feel like for newcomer to progress, obviously we need to do PR, but I also don't want to become a pillar in the community kind of thing.
Wait, please expand on that.
No, I mean, obviously, I want to be someone that people like look up to and stuff, but I don't want
I feel
to.
like I get what you mean.
Yeah,
almost
it
not
becomes
trying to
performative.
try not to build yourself up as a figure. I think you get this from like the podcast with Kendrick, right? You know, when he felt away because people had this expectation of who he was supposed to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, oh, you're supposed to be a savior. You're supposed to be like the next.
You don't
leader.
want that to happen.
No,
where people have that.
and also, I think once again, if I could recommend any book, if I could recommend two books, one would be Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. It's one of those books that everyone tells you not to read, but read it. It's actually a really good book.
Malcolm Gladwell's fine. He's not like the 48 laws of
But
Power guy.
but they put him in the same bucket, and he's like, he's not.
He's such a nice, like,
He really isn't.
No, like if you watch interviews, like I suppose he's a Christian. No, he's even a Christian as well. You know. I can't-
Wait, what is that? What's it?
Oh,
So
okay,
we don't-
never
we
mind,
don't ban
never
Christians. No, I'm
Never
kidding.
mind.
Nah, but that is a good book. Yeah.
And what's the next one?
That and The Society of the Spectacle. And I recommend these two books all the time because it teaches me, or they teach me two things. One, The Outliers tells me that you can have all the same things that I would have and have different results.
Yep.
You know,
Facts.
so what's
This
so
guy
what's the
might be
point?
alright.
And even the idea of like you sharing your ideas, I think people get scared of sharing their ideas because someone's gonna steal it. But like you said,
Yeah, no one's
You ain't me. You ain't me.
do you know what I mean? Like, it's not possible.
Exactly. Like no one can think about it exactly the way you would, or execute it.
That's
Execute
it.
it
Tell-
exactly the
yeah.
same way.
People ain't believe it. Evil eyes. So it's really,
And it's like, but and then for the Society of the Spectacle, another reason why I refer to that book all the time is it tells you that everything's a lie. Like everything's fake. And the sooner people the sooner people realize that like people, even on our Instagram like accounts and all that good stuff, like people are curating certain lifestyles
100%.
and it's a lot of pressure to uphold. And I just don't want to be in a space where people are expecting certain things from me that it's not like I can't provide them, but it's like, do this for yourself. Don't expect me to.
you might
throw
not
that.
want to do that tomorrow, and then what
exactly.
happens?
I want to be my own person.
Yeah.
You know. And I think that's the main thing for me. But also know that it's important to have representation.
Yeah.
And going back to my earlier point about not making my identity the main thing in my career, it's not like it's irrelevant. because I know that there are some people who need to see like black women in space. I don't know why those are difficult to say. But you see, that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, it feels uncomfortable for me to say because that's not.
You want to be the face of it.
Yeah,
and like, okay, now everybody's like, okay, but if Natalie said this, then it has to be.
And that's not your sole identity as well. You're more than
that.
Yeah.
Because
Way more,
for some people, their goal is to become the first.
Freudian slip.
The first black woman to do XYZ.
right.
Instead of focusing on the XYZ. Do you get what I mean?
Which is so interesting because a lot of people, let me rephrase. Quite a few people find out like later on that they're the first black X in order to do
Some
something.
people are also there just thinking, this is what I want to achieve.
Yeah,
That's so creepy.
A lot of the time, like your Elaine Walteroffs, she found out later that they told her, you're the first black woman to do X, Y, and Z. Like someone in my agency who's like the global DEI officer, I think. They're like the first black person to do something. I can't remember what the thing is, but they found out later. They didn't do it with like the intention of, I want to be the first.
Exactly.
It's great, but you find out, okay, what next?
What is it?
Yeah,
so
like
weird.
the purpose is bigger than that.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
I'm on this
It doesn't
you know what I mean?
just end with the accolade.
There's
more to do.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
The first black person to go to the toilet. I'm sorry, but sometimes some of these achievements are so weird. The first black person to buy this. It's just like there's a lot of weird first black. But I also understand
But
sometimes
even-
you want to
but-
kind of make it
yeah.
seem like it's very
It's possible.
accessible.
Yeah,
It's
possible
just,
to do
it's just
it, yeah.
highlighting that look is a problem, and like someone saw.
you could go to the toilet.
I guess things like that again, like highlight the issue.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
okay, it's the first. Because sometimes you see this first black thing, and I'm just like, this isn't something to be proud of. When
I
a
guess so.
brand is like the first black model on our campaign, and you're thinking it's 2022. and
It's
this is the first
like it's
time.
been time.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
And this brand has been about for hundreds of years. Are you not
300
ashamed?
years. It's like,
You know that
Shame.
girl from Squid Game?
yeah.
I think she was the first model on, I think, Vogue or something.
Oh, the first one of Asian descent.
but solo.
Hey,
So usually they have like they're in groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forgot her name. Though. She was in
I remember
the Weeknd's video.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was thinking, 2022.
That's really mad.
Wow.
That's crazy, you know.
But
Yeah.
I love that the fact that it's not about that.
Yeah,
for you.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
more
It's
like
more than-
representation is important, but it doesn't just.
So that
end
comes
at
secondary,
that.
I suppose.
Yeah.
It happens, I guess, as a result of you doing what you're doing anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. Sorry, Michael, going to say something.
This reminds me of something along the lines of like these things should be the different phrase, but it's not the right phrase, like the side effects or the after whatevers of you kind of doing the main thing.
Okay.
So these things
like,
should be like the offshoots, byproducts. That's it.
Byproducts.
Thank you.
Byproduct,
Wow,
yeah,
the
yeah.
struggle was real. Of you doing what you're supposed to be doing, in
Yeah.
your field. If you focus on that, then all these other things will come after. But those other things that you shouldn't be like the main focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I've got a theory. Did Fuse ODG?
I flipping.
Oh, wait. Stay with me.
I agree with you though, because I
You see?
I know where you're going with this.
I didn't even finish, but he knows. Did Fuse ODG help?
Oh, yeah.
In a major way. Yeah, don't say how. In a major way, in the, I guess, commodification or more so globalization of
It was a catalyst. Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
I remember.
Because I tell people this. And
No,
people
I
laugh
remember
at me.
I went to Wireless Festival.
Yeah.
I don't know. Drake came out that same festival anyway. But
Wasn't that 2016 or 15?
no.
It was
Was
that
it
good
the
summer.
surprise?
It was If You're Reading This
That's
Is Too
what
Late.
I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's
What year? If You're Reading This Too Late, what year was that? If You're Reading This Too Late, 2015, 2016.
2015.
But Fuse came on stage, and he was like, I think it's after his song on BBC Live Lounge.
Oh, my feet can't touch the water. My head can't touch the ground.
But he said something on the stage, and he was like, he was wearing his kente, and then he was like, yeah. He was wearing his kente, yeah. Not the full cloth, but like, back in the day, there was like
the little patches. Oh, I can't lie. Back then they were so hard though. I really wanted some.
I had one dog. But he was on the stage like, yes, this is New Africa, Tina.
Tina, yeah.
Aw.
But it's like, sometimes people say, they didn't really rate it. But to see what he's actually done,
Bro, bro.
It's rude
Yeah.
though, because when it first dropped, everyone was on it until it started doing.
I think when it hit
started
the pop,
getting commercial,
yeah, that's what everyone was like. Yeah,
where
Bunny,
the
Bunny,
issue
Bunny.
was. Because what we know we're doing, Oliver, even with
The band.
Thank you. I was about to say Don Jazzy. God. Yeah, even with the band, like when Oliver Twist dropped, similar kind of thing, and then when it got too mainstream, and then
People
everyone else
started,
started
yeah.
doing
But
it.
you know what I didn't like though? I think in school people were like, oh, you know that Oliver Twist?
So basically, so you are one of the gatekeepers, isn't it? You're one of those.
No,
like,
no,
of
no,
course
no,
I
no,
know Oliver.
No,
I'm
because
not gonna lie, it's a bit jarring.
my Afrobeats wasn't Oliver Twist though.
It was a bit jarring,
My
especially
Afrobeats was
when
before that, bro.
certain
Do you
I feel
demos.
like Joanna has replaced that.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I can't lie.
That-
Yeah,
but-
Look,
but
shout
you're
out to
right.
Afrobeat.
that one was
That was
Woo!
like at least 3 years.
Americans said inject, snort,
And
rub on gums.
He broke that
His
in
run
every-
was crazy.
every continent.
Years.
He went to the Latin market.
Like-
Do
Do
you
you
know
know
a
what?
remix? A Latin
Years.
remix.
Yeah.
A
Afrobeat
year,
done it big.
after the
Done
song
it big.
dropped here
Yeah.
in America, they're still in the club.
It came so. But it was brand new.
I think French Montana loved it.
That's a French potato. Yeah, shout out to French potato. It's like,
But I think it is true. It's sad though, because I feel like now we don't involve him in the conversation when
Yeah.
it does
Yeah.
come to.
No, he
Exactly,
will,
yeah.
in the future he will get put involved though.
Um,
I reckon. No, he will. Trust me. When we look back at it, he will be highlighted.
for more history has done, I
Will,
don't think so.
But I feel like 10 more years need to pass.
that's how I feel like it's
Yeah,
gonna
though.
be. And I don't think it's.
You have to-
I
you
feel
have
like
to
it's gonna
wait.
be one of those like hidden. Not that I want it to
Someone
be.
make a documentary. We have
It
cool.
It will be though.
And
It will.
feels
Like-
ODJ,
like-
my man.
No.
It's
like the NY Times, I think it's the NY Times or another one. They do like this series about like forgotten people. So they're no. This is a mess. This is a mess.
no, sorry. The way you said
It was not supposed to sound like that.
Like, where are they now?
It was not supposed to
probably
sound
wondering
like
where
that.
he is, right?
It was not supposed to sound like that. Basically, there's like one episode, or it might be another publication, but they focus on the black woman from the Black Eyed Peas.
I've seen that.
I'm sure a lot of you didn't even know there was a black woman in the
No,
Black
yeah,
Eyed Peas.
yeah, I saw that.
I've seen that.
I feel
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, it might be one of those situations where that
Yeah.
was shining a light on what he did.
But he's not forgotten though.
You know why it's so
or,
unfair?
like,
Yeah?
or respect-wise, because I feel
Yeah,
like
I
the
think,
respect
yeah,
is
it's
not
more
there.
it's more respect because
Yeah.
it's not like people don't know who he is.
Oh,
People
we know.
people just don't rate him.
But
yeah.
why don't we rate him?
It's bad though, because you'll rate Ed
Studio
Sheeran before you rate him.
I'm going
Carla is
to
hard, you know.
I'm
That
going
sounds
to throw a
wavy.
spanner in the works. I also think it's because he's Ghanaian. They don't
Oh,
Conspiracy.
snap. Oh,
You got
snap.
some inside information.
Natalie,
debate
Natalie.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Natalie, what do you know that we don't know?
I don't want to go down this path actually
Hmm.
because I was gonna mention it in terms of like once again the hierarchy of content because if you look at the history of Afrobeats that be documented now,
Yeah.
they take it from a Nigerian perspective, not a Ghanaian perspective.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're. Did I not say 100%?
No.
Why is it-
And
That's one fighting.
I feel like once again,
I'm even outnumbered.
once again, it's a byproduct of that, right? Where if he was assuming like certain spaces, it wouldn't be as easy to dismiss his contributions. Although, like obviously, to be fair, there are also Nigerian artists who I'm sure are also being like dismissed in that same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, my theory here is like naturally because Ghanaians tend to be put in situations where even when they are spearheading something, they aren't able to
Push.
yeah exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not always their fault, you know. I'm trying to be very diplomatic, man, sir, because obviously everyone has some level of accountability.
Yeah, because Fuse has all the tools. He had all the tools.
And not even just Fuse. There's other guys I want to mention like Mrs. Silva.
The Silver, yep,
I-
Kwanzaa
Kwanzaa
flavor,
Flavor,
yep.
yeah.
I was gonna say though, like, you know when you're like spearheading something, right?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's obviously hard to kind of like assess the land because
the guinea pig.
Because you're the
Yeah.
test.
It was fresh for them.
So that's the thing.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
like the appetite, the appetite was there actually.
oh,
But,
what?
like, you know,
What? Mrs. Silva was banging
but
back in the day.
at the same time, like,
Yeah, he was good in.
but at the same time, like, I'm gonna say, like the mainstream, it wasn't mainstream, for example.
At
Or
that
like
time, you're
loads
right.
of people did
No,
not
yeah, it
see,
wasn't- it wasn't.
I'm going to do Afro beats as like that's not gonna be my main thing. That might be like a side like one or two songs. It's gonna involve Afro beats, but
Right.
my
Like
main
Mr.
thing's
Silver
gonna
was
be-
doing a lot of different genres.
But even
as well.
Azonto, you're right about the Nigerian aspect of it though,
Azonto
because
never
I remember Chris Brown went on stage and was like, Whiskey just showed me this new dance from Nigeria called the Azanto.
Can't lie.
I
I
said,
took that to
That
heart.
bro.
I was feeling.
I took that personal.
It's tight when the population is so large.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Strength in
It
numbers and
low-key-
all that stuff.
It's low key like American everywhere
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
What is that about? Is it like a branding thing? Because how
No,
is
but
it that
no, but
Nigeria?
I-
is that
think
how they
but-
say Caribbean to say Jamaica?
It's a size thing as well.
Do you get what I mean? Nigeria is basically that.
It's a size
yeah.
thing.
Charlie.
Yeah, it's a size thing.
yeah,
Like China as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're powerful because of their numbers. America once again powerful because that's why they always. I have another
Main
theory.
character syndrome.
Yeah, 100%.
What's this theory?
This theory is that I feel like a lot of Americans think Africa is a country because their country is technically a continent. So they just apply that same logic to
hear that.
Africa.
Really give them a free pass for that one. I can't lie. Trying to say
Well, if they want to take it, sure. It's not right.
that. No, they'll probably take it, but
But
yeah.
that country's big, bro. Where?
Because like I think that's what bothers me sometimes is that like you were saying a lot of countries in Africa especially like Ghana it's always the Ghana Nigeria
Yeah.
but even within those two countries there's like a massive gap like
Yo.
yeah.
Nigerians are winning Grammys now.
Yeah.
True. Who in Ghana's gonna win a Grammy
people,
though?
Michael.
Oh, thank you so much.
No, Nigerians
I mean,
are
other people are winning Grammys as well. What's Auntie's
Angelique?
Angelique?
Yeah.
Is she from the Ivory Coast or remember?
No, she's
Oh,
from I think it's
I remember,
South.
Do a quick go.
But even with that, like she collaborates with so many Nigerians.
She does.
Yes, she does. With,
I went through
Yemi.
her Yemi
Alade.
Alade, even
Yeah.
like Burna Boy, but like other
Yeah.
like from like South Africa and everywhere else.
To be honest, we're in a bubble though, because even me, I know there's big artists in Spain or Latin America. They might not make it.
Yeah, them lot
But the
clear.
thing is, I do-
them lot clear.
That
I
Latin
didn't think
market,
that
yeah.
exists. I didn't think that
Ew.
exists. You know, I didn't know they even existed at one point. Do you know what I mean? But,
But
they are.
you see, they service their people. They're
Yeah.
very like newcomer. They're very like targeted. Like they know who they're made for, and they don't
yeah,
try
they don't
to
dilute it.
anything. If it happens to go abroad and other people pick up, great. But
Yeah.
we service our people first.
That's actually such a good point because I remember someone, when the whole Oscars thing happened, blah
Yeah.
blah,
Yeah.
that situation. People were saying that people, like Bollywood, isn't looking to get Oscars, but then we always
You're right,
look
you
at
know.
other regions. But even with Grammys as well, like people on the continent look to the Grammys as like the pinnacle.
That's it. Yeah.
Of-
But would you say it's because maybe within the continent? Because we have awards like it.
But they're not regarded in the same
That's the
way.
thing.
What's the Ghana one?
And
Oh, yeah.
GMAs.
GMAs, yeah.
GMAs, I swear
Or
it was
VGMAs.
bare.
Always chaos.
Yes, chaos. I think
Or
was
like
it
the
Because of
Free
a
Music
fight.
Awards
Stone,
and stuff like
you said
that.
Stoneboy and somebody were fighting on
Why,
stage.
yeah, I was.
You know who? The one we can't, we won't
Of
can't
course,
mention.
of course, that's what you'll remember. But the other years they were doing it before.
Yeah, you don't remember the good things, yeah? Hey, you're part of the problem. But nah, yeah, you're right.
No, it is true.
But I'm saying it's quite sad because again, like with the Latin market, obviously there's. I feel like maybe because I am a bit more outside,
Yeah.
I can't really necessarily speak on again the Ghanaian experience so specifically like I could back in the day. But like right now, from the outside looking in, obviously I'm gonna be like, oh, they could do this, they could do that, so on and so forth. But people over there might be like Natalie was saying earlier, they might not have the resources to even get these things out. Like, you know the funny thing? There's a Ghanaian legend in high life music that a friend interviewed, and they didn't know about royalties.
Oh wow.
And this is a person who's been making music for over 30, 40 years.
It's crazy.
And they don't know about the royalty system and how to get paid. So they get paid off shows, performances.
That's really
And
sad.
they know, like, so basically,
Meanwhile, people probably been like sampling like crazy and stuff.
reprinting vinyl,
Oh.
reprinting cassettes, and all these
Oh.
things in like maybe somewhere in Sweden or Amsterdam.
Wow.
And they have no,
Connection
you
to
know what I'm
that.
saying? And I feel like sometimes maybe this creates that kind of space where people feel like there's no value to it.
Right.
And then they feel like they can't even invest in it. Because like I can mention at least 3 or 4 Nigerian artists who have a management team and have, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
people behind them,
Infrastructure.
and actual infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then you go to like from the little I know in Ghana, there's a lot of artists who do it off the strength.
Yeah.
Like obviously that can't take you as far as you might want it to go, you know. And locally it might be the biggest thing in the world, But like, unless you, I guess you have that infrastructure, all your efforts become a bit void.
But I think that's where the Pan-African community comes in, because I remember Yao Tog and Stormzy came on to do the thing.
Yeah.
So like again, seeing that Pan-African sort of unity in the sense of like,
Well, that's in that the diaspora coming back
yeah,
in.
but
Yeah.
like just general, like just us as people coming together saying, look, I see what you're doing, I want to support your thing, kind of thing. Like I think that's something that we should move more towards, and obviously Newcomer is one of those ways that can become a thing.
Okay, people.
Yeah, you really.
Bring it in. Love
You know what I
that.
mean?
Practicing.
But another thing worth mentioning though is the diaspora savior complex. It's something
I
always
wanted
talk
to
about.
go here. I wanted to go here. No, because I want to ask like how, because we've all mentioned like, oh, what we think could, you know, I feel like we all do it. Like, oh my God, this could be so much better in our home countries.
Yeah,
if we do
yeah,
X,
and
Y,
it's
Z.
like
And
we
it's-
don't know.
And
They don't even want us. They don't even want you.
when I was in Ghana, yeah, do you know,
Oh.
if you see the way they speak about people from London, especially, yeah, they don't rate us, you know.
like,
and we're trying to come there to save.
I
save
saw
you.
one tweet that like, I think Natalie, you might have even retweeted it. You know, that encapsulated the whole
be
thing so
surprised.
well. It's like, oh, what do you say? Instead of looking at how you can save people back home and all this kind of stuff, why don't you focus on your own
What are you
community
doing
here? What are you
here
doing
first?
here? What are you actually doing here?
Nada. Not much.
Oh, to just make a noise.
regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what you're doing,
What speaker? Where are you going?
regardless of what you're doing, like you still need the foundation for how you intend to help
Facts.
people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And once again, like when I was like in other contexts, like I realized that like
Other context.
I realized that I was having to help Black people in general when I realized that I was actually more passionate about helping people back home on the continent, right? And once again, disclaimer, it's not that I don't care about.
yeah,
you
yeah.
Forget them.
No. But again, Natalie's been doing her thing.
You
in
can't
UK,
save everybody, yo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also like the thing as well is with everything that we've been trying to do with Newcomer, we've been trying to be aware of the fact that once again it's acknowledging the privilege of your circumstances, right? And once again acknowledging the nuances of the kind of issues that we would have. And once again, like to just like summarize it, if I'm thinking about the issues I have as a creative here in London, it would probably have racial like undertones, right?
100%, yeah.
Whereas in Ghana, it might probably have like sexist undertones or classist undertones, right? And if you just adopt a blanket solution for all of these things, like it obviously wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And the other side of that as well is people also realizing that as much as there aren't like a majority of white people on the continent, people on the continent are also going through the repercussions of being colonized.
Yes.
And it's like people, it's even looking at the structure of our leaders, it's more or less a duplicate of how things were before they gained independence.
Just a
Like,
different face.
bear in mind, like it hasn't even been more than 100 years since any of the African countries have
true.
been independent. So they're
very
just
true.
using what they were
Same system.
used to.
Yeah.
They were used to seeing. And I'm like a counselor kind of person. So if we were enslaved for 400 years,
Gotta wait another 400.
Do the math. Come on, do the math.
so it's not like don't make any efforts now, but at the same time be realistic that the
not gonna
foundations
happen.
that you're setting here, you might not reap the benefits in your lifetime.
Gonna be your children's children's
yeah,
children.
yeah. And going back to the whole diaspora point, like
That's a good point.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So,
excited for the future, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
The reason why I'm saying is because not everybody is willing to wait that long because they want
To
to see
accept
the
that.
fruits
They want to see
themselves.
this. I suppose,
Detachment,
yeah.
detachment.
Other people
is
get a bit
huge.
selfish because they want to do it themselves and
Yeah.
see
For
the.
me, I'm doing
Yeah.
this
It's all
for
about
me.
me. Yeah.
Which is fair to some extent because who wants to suffer in this life? But at the same
Nah.
time, like, but at the same time, it's just not realistic, sweetie.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
It's not like you can reap some, but not.
Yeah, but not.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
So I feel like that really like encapsulates our generation as well. Like,
Yeah.
or, like even think about hustle culture or the fact that like
Yeah.
all these
everybody wants to be a baller, everybody wants to be this, or the way that we treat the environment as well.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, for what
it's all
reason?
for now, and
Yeah.
we're just running ourselves to 20, 30
Yeah.
years.
I saw a tweet, and she was like, random lady. She was like,
She-
Shout
was
to-
like,
shout to she.
she's achieved all the like typical things that people would achieve in their 30s and 40s in her 20s, and she's like, now what? You know.
Oh.
And
Give me the money. Let me invest in crypto.
and I feel like a lot of people in our generation are falling into that pot where it's like we want everything now, and it's fine for certain things to take time, because like this you can get everything too early, and there's nothing
Look forward to.
there's
what
nothing
else?
to
That
look forward
existential
to.
crisis is probably so mad right now.
Yeah,
Millions in the bank. You just like, what do I do now?
What do I do now?
because money only gives you, like, after, I'm just going to throw a random number, like I can imagine after having 500 million in your bank account, the access that you have to
What are you doing? Buying Twitter.
Can you even afford?
You broke.
but like the point I'm trying to make is there's a certain point where no matter how much money you make after this amount,
Yeah, that's
it's not going to change the access you have to
the ceiling.
things.
Actually
That's the
complete
ceiling.
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, what you also you do now?
It's like moving like Pokemon. You finish the game without just collecting every single Pokemon for the
What,
sake
twice,
of
3 times over.
I got to fill up my Pokedex. That's
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like I feel like we can also be fine with not completing everything, but I feel like I need to learn that for myself as well.
That's
like,
very hard.
yeah, my biggest fear is like not existing before I'm done with what I want to do, especially because I want to do so many things.
like, why did you word it like that? It's so hard. It's not existing before.
I didn't want to say
Okay,
that.
okay. Yeah.
My brain twitched for a second.
Words mean things, and
Yeah.
we're not trying to speak that into.
Oh no, I mean like I don't want to like pass on without like
Doing what you
Hey,
She
I
doesn't
just
want-
got it.
yeah,
like
yeah.
twice over. Jesus.
Yeah.
Natalie, be a rapper, you know.
but music is my first love.
I hear that.
But
I hear that.
that's even
You see with
another
the
thing.
electric guitar. Anyways,
Yes, that's one thing in itself. Like I don't want to do music professionally because I love it so much.
So you don't want to become.
You want to preserve it as a hobby.
Yeah. And I think that's also another thing for creatives. We feel we have to monetize everything.
Oh.
Michael said this last week. He was like,
Yeah.
sometimes they're your hobbies be your hobbies. innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you learn the hard way, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't ask me to record, to
Place his
photograph
pen.
anything.
Yeah, please.
yeah.
please, no, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think people need to do more at acknowledging the fact that I like doing this. I'm gonna keep this for me, you know. But I want to finish this Diaspora Savior complex question. Not question, like thing. But why did I say thing? But anyway,
American,
thing topic, please. But yeah, going back to that, I just would like a lot more people like on this side to acknowledge that you not living somewhere every day means you don't have you don't have the insights of living there, period.
Capacity don't have the range.
You know, and it's fine. Like it doesn't mean you're not. There's no one way to be Ghanaian. There's no one way to be Kenyan or wherever else you are on the continent. But in being realistic about the fact that if I'm not living here, there's certain things that even me, I say I lived in Ghana for 18 years, but I keep saying I haven't adulted in Ghana. So I can't possibly understand like all of the positives and negatives of doing so. However, I can create spaces for the people who are in Ghana to articulate that to me and take those insights and build something for them.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in some situations, people in the diaspora assume what the issues are. So that means they're also assuming what the solutions are, and they don't always match.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
love
just
that.
important to give space to people on the continent to talk and also do the work as well, because most of the opportunities are actually going to the people in the diaspora as well.
This is very
Yes.
true.
Oh.
Yeah. Natalie, it's been amazing. In fact, I think we have to have her on for a second time. just to
Yeah.
talk.
I was going to say, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this.
We should do this more often.
100%.
We can all learn something from you.
Yeah.
Hey, teacher Natalie.
You see, I spoke about this.
No, I'm kidding. Please teach us more. Now, no pressure.
Learning from
Yeah.
everybody.
But where can people find you?
Yeah.
This one too.
I didn't.
Yeah. Come on, man.
No. Actually, I'll say after, but people can find me on Instagram. That's why I laughed, because I'm going to mention third-party places.
You can find me a newcomer. You start with that.
Not the competitors.
Yeah.
You can find me a newcomer. My username is just Natalie, because obviously I'm the first Natalie.
Privilege. Come on.
Oh snap.
And like on the other platforms, you can find me NATAIIE_N on Instagram and what's the other one? Twitter. And then for newcomer, new.COMMA on Instagram and new_COMMA on Twitter.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thanks as well.
Been amazing.
Love you.
Love you.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to today's episode of Rule of Thirds. Feel free to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag Rule of Thirds Pod. And for more from us, follow us on Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod, or our personal accounts for myself, Burns JNR,
Mike at _ man like Mike.
And Jude at Kente Kwame.
Catch you guys in the next one.